This is the African Guide for Kids Show by QV.
Yes, and that's me right here, your host. Yes, Miss QV, tonight with the African Guides for Kids Show. And I am so excited to bring today one of the youngest man I know my whole life, and he's going to tell us on what you're going to talk. And the topic today is the Generation X, Y, Z, and he's going to tell us what he understands by that. And we're going to learn something about, from the generation, and then he may also be telling us what kind of generation that he is and what he thinks about it and what you can compare to all this kind of generation. But before that, yes, I want to ask you, have you gone to our social media platforms? And that is on IG, on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube, and also on our website. It's just simple as this. It's just what you see on the screen for those who are asking, or somebody who's been asking, how am I going to get in contact with you? Yes, and on our IG handle is Radio R99.2 FM. On our YouTube is Radio RFM. On Facebook is Radio R. On YouTube is Radio RFM. On Twitter is Radio R. And guess what? We also have on our website, which is www.cradior.com. There you can just click on Listen Live, and you're going to get us just there, one-on-one. So tonight, we are talking about the generation X, Y, Z. Why we're talking about this is because we've had topics or questions whereby what's up with all these kids nowadays? I'm sure you are very you that word has gotten too much of I don't know, you Englishians, please, Queen Liz, Queen this thing, England, please tell us, how do you say the thing that is just common? However, without stopping, we've heard of what is wrong with this all kind of generation nowadays. What is wrong with them? What do they even think? What are their priorities these days? And what has affected them to be the way they are? And today I'll be joined by this young man. Hello, what's up? Hi, what's up? Please come close to the microphone and tell us more about it.
So my name is Prince E. Come from Kenya. I'm 11 years old, and today I really appreciate coming here.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to tell you about the XYZ generation.
Before you go there, what do you find? Before you tell us about what is Generation X, Y, Z, and all that, what generation would you like to be?
For me personally, I would like to be the Y generation.
Y generation.
Yeah.
Now maybe you can tell us what is the X, what is the Y, and what is the Z part generation.
So the X generation is where people they didn't have like mobile phones.
Yeah.
And they just they were just trying to balance their life and concentrate on themselves.
Yeah.
They were like personal computers to themselves.
Okay.
So the Y,
Wait. Like the X, you mean like they didn't have so much. They did not have so much contact with the computers or the technology that you have right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were forced to do everything by themselves. If it's like, today we have the CPU, that is central processing unit, and that is on the computers. Or for those who are ITs, please, I don't know if the U stands for units or for the universal. I don't know. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But by the way, what does the CPU stands for? Akipole, if I've failed my generation, I'm yet to find out which generation I am in. Anyway, so, and now you said with the X, there are people who had to process everything. They had to put everything in their head. That means if they did not have Google, like for those who had to go to school, they did not have, when they were told, today I have to give you some homework, to go and do this and this, like, you know, the kind of work you get. You're 11 years old, so you have some homework, so you get to be told to go and do the research. And when you have to the research, you have to go to the computer, right?
Yeah, but I think sometimes they also used maps or maybe asked other people for help.
So they do not have the navigation system.
But maybe they had like in libraries,
Yeah.
like little computers to like research the things, but not.
Honey, they had something called an encyclopedia.
What?
Please correct me. Was it an encyclopedia or what was the name?
Wikipedia.
Eh? Yeah, encyclopedia. So
Encyclopedia.
it was this huge. Actually, by then there was not yet there, but the end of Generation X, they had this huge book.
Yeah.
It had all the subjects. Like it had from mathematics to God knows what, physics, and you had to do your own research. Like if you had a topic which you want to check on, you had to go and peruse. Like you have to go page by page, and maybe it had more than 3,000 pages. So you had to go page by page to look for what you're looking. The best part of it, it was organized in a way that each subject was like for the mathematics, you know, with there was this thing called what is the name of this thing when you want to find out about mathematics or to solve a problem? Oh my God, why am I forgetting? You see, the computers these days. So if you want to learn about the algebras, or if you want to learn about something, you go to the you go to the mathematics part.
Yeah.
If you want to learn about English, you go to the English part. But you have to peruse to get the page. Which page is that? Sometimes it takes a day before you find out. Yeah, it's not like today whereby you just say, I want to check about the past, present, and future tenses and all that. So that is the XY. So yes, they had libraries. You're right, and they really used the library very, very, very well. Yeah. So tell us about the why.
So the Y generation is where they started to using mobile phones and tablets and trying to stabilize their life. And yes, they try to stabilize their life. That's why I really wanted to be in the Y generation.
Okay, and I think I'm more interested to know the Z part, so that maybe I can compare to understand why you'd like to be a Y generation and which generation you are yourself.
The Z generation it's not that quite fun. It's just about FaceTiming or using too much cell phones or doing the nano computing.
What is nano computing? What is nano computing?
Nano computing is it's a branch of technology where scientists study little piece of atoms.
Okay. All right. Some chemistry coming in.
I'm not sure what atoms mean.
Atoms is just a part of chemistry. We're going to talk about that, but on the science or the chemistry class. Okay.
Where scientists study little pieces of atom, so that we Z generations can do little cool things from them.
Okay, so where mumesikia Generation Z, and which generation would you like to be? That one you're going to give us after this, and maybe that will be the question of why are we learning today on the African Guides for Kids show about the Generation X, Y, Z. The thing is, we have had, like I said before, what is wrong with all these kids. We want to know what is wrong or what is right, or actually what is making them to be the way they are these days, the way they are. We had, it's the nano computing. Hey, wewe.
Jambo.
Tom Amolo, Ambassador of Kenya here in Germany. I'm listening to Radio RFM, home of African music, the affirmative African narrative. Karibuni nyote.
Radio tukutane online.
Your non-stop music station.
Share with your mother, share with your sister, share with your father, share with your uncle, share with your girlfriend, share with your wife, share with your side chick.
Broadcasting around the world on the World Wide Web.
We are going viral. We are trending and trending and trending.
Love life, love music.
Is the African Guide for Kids Show by QV.
Yes, and we were talking about the generation XYZ. We just got from one of the youngest men around the world that we have the X, which were the people who are more independent. Like they didn't have to have Google, they did not have to have a navigation system, they did not have to have WhatsApp for any kind of communication, they did not have to have all this YouTube to check what is the latest music and how many views I got, they did not have to have all this TikTok to go and do the dancing challenges, they did not have all this kind of Instagram to go and check what is up with the latest words. So, with the latest words news, let me say. So, where I don't even would like to be in that generation. Then comes to the generation Y, which actually balanced between Y, the generation X, and Z, whereby they were kind of stable. They had the computer system, and yet they had to struggle a little bit, like the X. Let me say, put it like struggle. So they had to struggle kidogo between, in between. And then there is this Z, which has the nano computing and all these kind of atoms and all that are going to use the well, guy, he look at now sit level. But anyways, who are we? Who are we? Have to go. We have to trend kidogo. We are so lucky to be on this generation Z. That's why we have our social media platform, Cindy. But before we go there, let's go back to the young man and tell us why he would wish to be on the generation. Why?
Why would I really love to be on the generation Y?
Yeah.
Because it's generation X helped to so that generation Y can like be invented like.
Yeah, so you mean like the X, did the generation's X
helped.
They did a lot of inventory, like they invented a lot of computers, a lot of all this thing with this chatting, what is it called, the WhatsApp and all that, all this kind of social medias.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's why you prefer the generation Y.
Yes.
So what would you rate me? Which generation am I in?
Generation, I would say generation like, generation, your generation Y.
I'm generation Y.
Yeah.
And that's why maybe I'm able to go and do the housework and be able to write and use the computers.
Yes.
So this young man is wishing to be on my generation. Anyway.
Or be I think digital entrepreneuring.
I mean, when you know about the digital entrepreneurship, you can be on a generation, all of them, like the X, Y, Z, because if you're there, you're going to learn about the whole of digitalism, with computers, ITs. So there's a possibility that you will be able to be in a digital entrepreneurship as long as you learn. However, when you go to Generation X, let me put some input on that. Thank you so much. We are still having this conversation though. So Generation X, like you said, they were all depending on those books and all that.
Yes.
That means even they did not even go to find. They did not have much of what we have these days, like mekos. When you have to cook, they had to go and fetch firewood somewhere, So by then they were division. they were divided, like there were men and women. There was work of a man and there was work of a woman. But then on this generation, it was very, very specific on what is one going to do and what, you know. For a man, he was given, that is his provision, that it was his man. The man was given, you have to have the peace, provision, that's providing what is going to be dressed, what is going to be eaten, what is going to be used for the matumizi, like the what you're going to use. Oh God, why am I losing so many English words? Anyway, so what is going to be used there? And then the woman, on the other hand, she was the queen of the house. Like, she was to know how the food is going to be cooked, how the kids are going to go to school, how the kids are going to dress up when going for a certain occasion and all that, okay? So they were very specific. And you see, even on those generation, people were very smart. However, I should say it was not complicated. Life was not complicated like the way it is right now. Right now, when you have to register something, if you want to do registration, you have to give your age, you have to give your address, you have to give everyone what you're living, you have to share all these kind of links and all those kind of things, you know, that will just makes the whole thing complicated. So they did not have, and that's why maybe it was easier for them, you know, to use the world, or the world by then it was easier. You'll find out also the things that were used by then, you know, the food that people ate, it was very, very uncomplicated, did not have too much chemicals. And that's why you'll see that a lot of Generation X, that is 1953, 1960s kids, they're still there, very far. They look younger than most of the Generation Z, believe it or not. Yeah. So, and then there is this, you know, I think for me, as much as I wouldn't like to be on the Generation X, I'm really happy to be on the Generation Y, honestly. However, I should say, when it comes to food or when it comes to tradition, I would really love to be on the Generation X.
I understand.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because of the way I love culture. Yeah, so
it's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun knowing about culture. It's good knowing about your past, how people lived in your past, how people ate, what they do as tradition, how they were wearing their clothes. That's really good.
Right? To know, you know, it's always good to understand where you come from so that you can know where you're going.
So you can teach your kids
exactly
in future,
the coming generations.
The coming, yes.
Yeah. So it's always good when you have an idea of where you come from. It's easier for you to know where you're going. However, let's say with the Generation X, there were a lot of things that they were not clear to them. Most of the Generation X, they came from people who were colonized. You know, when the white man came, or the colonizers, let me not call them the white man, the colonizers came and invaded or took space, they took our space back in Africa. Okay, so the Generation X were a little bit closed, like they did not have much of saying, they did not have much of putting their minds out there, they did not have much of saying, no, I don't want to do this, because they were colonized, and kind of colonizers were very, very mean, you know, so they had a lot of trauma, let me put it like that.
Yeah.
They had a lot of fear, they did not believe in themselves. They did not trust that they would wake up one day and just say, now this is enough, and you know. However, we should also be thankful to them that most our countries, especially those who come from Africa, we are independent. Yeah? We are independent. We have our flags raised high. So they are kind of different. And that's why you see, when it comes to corporal punishment, for those who don't know, is the beatings. You know, in Africa, when by then, which I also went through as a generation Y, beginners of generation Y, is that we used to be beaten at school. We used to be beaten back at home. We used to be beaten, as in that was a way of punishment, okay? And actually, most of us, we tend to give it to our children, which I think for me, it is not bad. It is something, it's a way of bringing children back to their line. So they will have different kind of corporal punishment. Trust me, when a Generation X beats you, or try to punish you, or tries to correct you, my friend, you're going to regret the day that you came into this world.
This is the blackest man in Black Africa, Uncle Fred Obachi Machoka. Listen to 99.2 FM Radio R. Wawa.
Yes, listen to Radio RFM. Yes, and you're going to regret, because these people, they can beat you. They can punish, I beg. They can punish you well, eh? Whereby they are going to beat you from morning till evening because you poured milk. Milk! But why? It's because they want to show you the importance of everything. Okay? They want to show you the importance of that small milk. The thing is, with Generation X, they took responsibilities. Yeah? They took responsibilities of everything. They took, everything that happened. They did not say, oh, no, I'm not going out. Oh, I don't want anything to do with that. They took responsibility of everything. So, and or they said, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm out. I'm not this kind of person. They knew what they're going to, inside them. Like I said, they did not have the power of saying it out, but they knew their limits. Okay, inside them. However, it was also sad that they could not play it out. They could not say it out, and a lot of things happened because they did not have the freedom of talking. They did not have the freedom of, of saying anything aloud. Like the way we say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. No, they did not say that. Because even now we find out, not only for the people in Africa, but as well the people who are taken as slaves, or the people who are sold from Africa to, for those who landed in the United States of Africa and all that, they did not have that. They did not have much of freedom. You'd see even those people, the inventors or the people who invented something, they were not recognized. There was no acknowledgement done to them. So, so what do I say? Generation X, Y, or Z?
Y, still Y.
I don't think I would like to be as Generation YX anyways, honestly speaking. I would like to stay on the Y. However, like I said, it's just about the culture. It's about the traditions that just makes me feel a little bit like, I want to be there as well. Yes, and with the next generation, with the Y generation, which you're not going to tackle on it today, we're going to tackle on it next time, is that they took a little bit of X. There was a question about, or we were having a discussion of a lot of things on a certain group meeting, and they were like, why are Africans like this, or why do they behave like this despite them being on the Generation Z? The Generation Z is that, like we heard, there are people who are already written. They have already taken step way much than the X, yeah? We forget about one thing, or maybe a lot of people don't understand one thing, is that when it comes to DNA, what we take from our parents, or all the genes that we tend to be get divided from our parents, we don't only take, oh, she is beautiful like her mother. We don't only, oh, she's handsome like the uncle. Oh, they have this body shape of that. We don't only take that, we also take the traumas, the fears, the all those things. It might be our ancestors were told by something when during colonization they were told something, and that thing, it happens that even today when I'm standing there or when my generation is standing there, they have fear of something, but they cannot tell, why am I even scared of this? I've never had an encounter with a certain thing. Why am I like this? It's because your ancestors, the DNA lineage that you come from, had to suffer, or they encountered this kind of situation and it scared them, or they didn't like it. And that's why you find that most of the Generation X, they are still suffering from kind of things that they can never express or explain it themselves. And for that, today marks the end of this topic. Next, we'll be joined by DJ Kwaku the Problem. Yes, with the African beats, the African music, the African movements. Yes? So, and if you want to hear to the latest music, to the latest, the kind of beats that we have latest. Late we have been having piano and all kind of thing, So he's going to bring us more on that. Make sure Osi Banduke happen. Remember, this is Radio RFM with me, Queen V, tonight to the African Guides for Kids show. Make sure to join me next Saturday. Yes, I'll be joined by the next man, the same young man. I hope you'll be having time next weekend, and we're going to talk more on the Generation Y and why we have to be the way we are. Make sure you be safe, stay healthy, and love one another.